Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video, I'm coming to you with my top 25 Chypre fragrances from within my collection. Again, this is the beginning of the year. Now it's February, so this is my first list video. I've been wanting to do a new Chypre list video for a while. Since last year, I was going to do a top 10, but I decided to rank the 25 that I have in my collection that I was able to scrounge up. So let's go ahead and get it going. Now, if you're not familiar with what a Chypre fragrance is, it is an accord that is created traditionally using bergamot at the top, labdanum in the mid, and oak moss in the base. Now, some of the fragrances that are on this list and a lot of fragrances that are considered to be Chypres may not have all or any of these particular notes within their particular note pyramid. Nonetheless, that's the origin of it, and that's the traditional makeup of it. Now, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite genre, just because there's so many different type of styles from it. Before, I used to really be into incense and oriental or amber type fragrances, which I still am, but I feel like the Chypre style with the different variations, it has this like sophistication to it that I like about it a lot. So we'll see which ones I have still within my collection. There were some fragrances that I wanted to mention before I get into the list, and these are fragrances that I either had or want. And the first one I want to mention is Pour Monsieur from Chanel. I did have the EDT and the EDP. The EDT I did wear an entire bottle, and the EDP I ended up selling. Now that one is considered like a traditional Chypre scent. People really love it. I don't really love it that much, so it's not one that I actually would replace. Another one that I do want is Rose Barbar, and this one is called a Chypre Floral. And that one does not have, I don't believe, it may have patchouli in it, but it does not have that traditional makeup of a Chypre fragrance. That is one Guerlain that in the Privé collection, that I have been trying to get a deal on at some point. The next one is Miss Dior Originale, but I wanted to get the extrait. I do have Miss Dior on this list, but it's the EDT concentration. And the last one I want to mention is Diaghilev. Now, Diaghilev is a very popular Chypre fruity fragrance from Roja Dove. It's a $1,000 fragrance. But for me, that one just doesn't speak to me at all. You know, people compare it to Mitsouko, Jubilation 25 Women. But to me, it just doesn't speak to me. I did see it for a deal around the holiday time, but I just didn't pick up on it. I didn't want to just have it just to have it. So those are ones that I wanted to mention. And there's one that I smelled while I was in Dubai. I'm going to keep that one a secret till I'm actually able to afford to buy it. It is a extremely expensive fragrance. It's not as expensive as ones that I've spent money on, but it's up there. So I'm going to keep that one a secret. But let's finally go ahead and get into the list. Number 25 on the list is from the house of Guerlain, and this one is Vol de Nuit. Now, this one ends up on the bottom of my list because to me, I don't get anything from it. On paper, it smells nice. On first blast, it smells nice, but it doesn't even last like 5 minutes on my skin. I watched a number of videos before, and some people talked about the fleeting nature of it, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I'm sure the extrait is probably exceptional. Vol de Nuit was released in 1933, and some of the notes on it are bergamot, galbanum, aldehydes, iris, oak moss, and orris root. And this one, like I said, it does smell nice on paper and upon initial spray, but it doesn't last worth anything, at least on my skin, not in this eau de toilette concentration. So that's why I have this one at number 25. Number 24 on the list is also from the house of Guerlain, and some people may be surprised to see it, but you'll see it again on this list. And this one is Mitsouko. Mitsouko Eau de Toilette. This is a vintage 1987 bottle of Mitsouko that I got all the way from Japan. And the reason why this one is so low is because to me it just smells It didn't really age well, I guess. I thought that it would, but it just didn't. This is one vintage fragrance that I bought that sort of was a bust for me. It does smell like Mitsouko in the air, but like closer to the skin, it just smells like, I guess, perfumer's alcohol or something like that. I was very disappointed at this. So, but you'll see it again on the list, but that's number 24. Number 23 is from the house of Ormonde Jayne, and this one is Ormonde Woman. This was one I picked up maybe a few months ago, and I got it because it is considered a Chypre fragrance. I did try it before. It wasn't one that I loved, but for some reason I wanted to get it. I saw the 50 ml on sale, so I decided to get it to see if maybe my taste would change on it. This one was released in 2002. Some of the notes on it are grass, cardamom, violet, jasmine, vetiver, sandalwood, and it has black hemlock, whatever that is. So the thing about this particular scent is that it does not have that traditional Chypre structure. It doesn't have any citruses. It doesn't have any resins. It doesn't have any oak moss in it. So this one is a earthy type of scent. I'll see how it goes with wearing it. I've just been trying to venture out into more like feminine target fragrances. As I've mentioned before, all the new niche and indie niche fragrances that come out, no matter whether people think they lean feminine or masculine, they target them as being unisex. And so I've been going back and trying to find women targeted fragrances that have, some of them are classics, some of them are not, to see if I like them. So people shouldn't be afraid to venture out for that reason that I just mentioned. But I have this one at number 23. Number 22 is from the house of Chanel. So you're gonna find a lot of Guerlains and Chanels on this list. Is one of my most recent pickups, so I have to live with it a little bit more. But it's one that I've tested before, and that is 31 Rue Cambon. And this particular one is the Eau de Parfum concentration that was released in 2016. Some of the notes on this one are black pepper, bergamot, iris, patchouli, labdanum. This one is more of an earthy type of scent. It's what I'm wearing for today. I don't get as much like projection and like longevity as I do from the other Les exclusives that I've actually sought out in my collection, but this one kind of fell in my lap, so I decided to pick it up because a couple people were like, oh, you're missing this one. And it does have the telltale notes of a Chypre. It does have those 3 notes that I mentioned at the beginning, but we'll see how this one works. If I do a list again, let's see if it makes it higher up on the list. Number 21 on the list is another one from the house of Chanel, and this one is number 19. This is a green Chypre style fragrance. So this one is a vintage one, I believe from the 90s. I don't know what exact year. And Chanel number 19, I believe, was originally released in 1970. Some of the notes on this one are green notes, bergamot, iris, lily of the valley, ylang ylang, and oak moss. Now this one is a fan favorite. People really do love this scent. I don't know what the Parfum would smell like, but this one I still need to get to know a little bit more. There's a green fragrance that I have a little bit higher up on the list, so I have that one, this one at number 21. The next one you may be surprised, from the house of Zara, so I put that one over the Chanels and the Guerlains, and this one is Leather Jardin. So this one has been like a sort of a hype fragrance within the fragrance community, because it is like an old school Chypre style fragrance, a leather Chypre style fragrance. It was released in 2021, and the only 3 notes listed are grapefruit, rose, and leather. But this smells like a quintessential old school leather Chypre fragrance. My biggest mistake on this one was like spraying too much when I wore it the other day, so go light on the trigger on this one. And I have this one at number 20. Number 19 on the list is from the house of Dior, and this one is one I don't have a full bottle of. I did, but I got rid of it, but I did keep 10 ml because I'm hoping to get the extrait version, and this one is Miss Dior Originale. So again, I kept 10 ml. It is a beautiful scent. I think the extrait will be even better. Miss Dior Originale Eau de Toilette was released in 2011. This one has galbanum, jasmine sambac, and patchouli in it. And this is another green Chypre style fragrance. So just waiting to see if one day I come up on the extrait sometime in the future. Let's keep it moving. Number 18 is from the house of Guerlain, and this one is Nahema. This is the 2021 formulation of it in the new bottle. Now this one was hard to come by. I was not able to get it locally. No one locally had it here. They almost had everything else except for this. When I was in Dubai, I mentioned in my previous video that I went to the gray market down there, and I was able to find one shop that had it, and I felt like I couldn't pass it up because it's one I was wanting. Do I consider it a rose fragrance? I don't know. But it is considered a Chypre floral, and some of the notes on Nahema are peach, passion fruit, rose, hyacinth, patchouli, and sandalwood. This fragrance I do like a lot. You see I put a big dent in it because I wore it a few times the week I was in Dubai. It does have some similarities to Chamad, but I like this a lot more than Chamad. I couldn't kind of wait to get rid of that one. So there you have it. That was number 18. Number 17 is from the house of Balmain, and this one is called Vert. So this is another green Chypre style fragrance. And this was one that as you mature and you smell different things, your taste change. So I'm really kind of getting into green fragrances, but this is like a lot more green than Chanel number 19. It has galbanum, hyacinth, oak moss, basil, vetiver, and citruses in it are some of the notes. This one was released in 1999. There are different variations of it. The different formulations of it were perfumed by different perfumers. I believe it's discontinued. And this is the newest one that I've gotten, and I do love this scent. Moving on. Number 16 on the list is from the house of Chanel. This one is considered a Chypre, at least by Fragrantica, and this one is Paris-Deauville. Now, Paris-Deauville is one of my favorite citrus summer scents. It's made it to the top of my list a number of times, but it's all the way down here on my Chypre list just because to me it's so citrus forward. And Paris-Deauville was released in 2018. Some of the notes on this one are bergamot, lemon, orange, basil, rose, and patchouli are some of the notes. And this is just an awesome summer scent. If you like citruses for your summer scents, eau de cologne style, this one is like second to none. I love it. But as far as Chypres, it has to be farther down on the list. So let's keep it moving. Number 15 on the list is from the house of Dusita. This was one I did blind buy, but people were saying it was similar to Bandy, so I figured it would be a safe blind buy since I do like that one. Is another Chypre fragrance, of course, and that's what the video is all about. And this one is Sillage Blanc. So this one was released in 2017. It has galbanum, artemisia, leather, oak moss, tobacco, patchouli, and orange blossom. This one is similar to Bandy. It's not as, I believe, put together as it and put together as Bandy, but it is very, very similar to it. It does have this tobacco in it, which makes it a little bit more unique, but I do like this scent. It is one that I'm happy to have in my collection, and I got the 50 ml of it. I figured that was plenty. Moving on. Number 14 is from an indie house, and this one is from Rue Perfumery. This one is called Flora and Fauna. I believe this one is now discontinued because of the availability or lack of availability of some of the ingredients. Flora and Fauna was released in 2020. This one is considered a Chypre fruity, and this one has apricot, oak moss, leather, labdanum, bergamot, and patchouli. It also has civet in it. I don't get much animalic from it, but when I had the sample set of from Rue Perfumery, it had like 10, 11, 12 fragrances in it. It was a really good deal. This is the one that spoke to me the most. The only thing I don't like about this one, I don't know if it's because it's all natural. It opens up really awesome, but then towards the dry down, it just fades off almost into like an ambery sort of scent. I only have this much left, so I think I'll probably try to kill it this week so I can get it off my list. But it's a good one, but unfortunately it has been discontinued. Number 13 is from the house of Chanel. This one is Antaeus. I'm always confused on how to pronounce it, Antaeus. So this one, I've had it for a little while. I've worn it a few times. This one is you know, an iconic fragrance. I finally was able to get a tester bottle of it for a you know, less than retail. So I was happy to do that. Now, Antaeus was released in 1981. This one's considered like a woody Chypre. Some people may say it's like a leather Chypre. This one has myrrh, clary sage, lemon, rose, castoreum, oak moss, and labdanum. So again, this one, even though it's leathery, it's supposed to be like a dress. People consider it a dressed up version of Kuros. I do like this scent a lot. This is something I have to live with more, but just even on first impression, I really do like this. I like the uniqueness of it. The only thing I wish it was a little bit stronger, but that's my only knock on it at the moment. So that's why I have this one at number 13. The next three remind me of each other, so I just put this one at number 12. And this one is from the house of Frederic Malle. This one is Le Parfum de Therese. This is one I have before the next two that I will mention. And this is a fragrance that was supposed to have been invented a long time ago. And then when the perfumer, Edmond Runiska, once he passed away, or his wife gave the formula to Frederic Malle. That's supposedly the story. This one was released in 2000. And this one has melon, tangerine, plum, leather, rose, and cedar. And this one, the melon note really comes out in this, but when I smelled it, it did smell familiar like a Chypre to me at the time, which is what geared me or steered me towards purchasing it. With these Frederic Malles, I just try to get the 50 ml so I could keep all the same size. But it does remind me of the next fragrances that I will mention. I just at this point mark them a little bit higher, but I do still like this one. Number 11 on the list is from the house of Chanel. This one is Cristalle the Eau de Toilette. This one I was trying to track down for a while, but in trying to get it before they put them in the new packaging, so I finally found a tester bottle of it. So that was pretty cool. I put this one higher than the EDP. Though to me they do smell similar, they're not that different. So Cristalle Eau de Toilette was released in 1974, and some of the notes on it are Sicilian bergamot, Sicilian lemon, bergamot, hyacinth, jasmine, oak moss, and vetiver. And as you see, I haven't really worn it that much. I've worn it a few times, basically trying to compare it to the Eau de Parfum concentration. So right now I have this one at number 11. We're almost done. So number 10, I have, again from the house of Chanel, this is Cristalle the Eau de Parfum concentration. This is a vintage splash bottle from the 90s, and the Eau de Parfum concentration was released in 1993. This one was perfumed by Jack Polge. I don't talk about perfumers much, and these are all considered like Chypre florals. Some of the notes on this one are mandarin orange, melon, jasmine, peach, ylang ylang, and oak moss. And as you see, I did do a comparison video between Therese, the Frederic Malle, and this one because it has that distinctive melon note in it. And I like this one a little bit more for right now than the Eau de Toilette. That's just my opinion. The Eau de Toilette does have a little bit of smokiness to it, but right now I have the Eau de Parfum head of it. So that's number 10. Number 9 on the list is one that's almost like an old faithful. This one is from the house of Nishane, and this is Hacivat. Now I haven't worn Hacivat in a while, but I still remember it, and for me it's still like a top 10 fruity Chypre type of scent. This one lasts forever. This one was released in 2017, and some of the notes on this one are pineapple, bergamot, patchouli, oak moss, jasmine. And again, it smells similar to a Ventus, but it's not exactly the same of it. This is the same 100 ml bottle of it. I believe I have about half a bottle left of this. I still hadn't come up on a deal for a deal that I like of a 50 ml. I don't know if I'll get it. I'll probably be over it by then. So there you are. That's my number 9. Number 8, I'm going to give it to the House of Homage, and this one is Fate Woman. This is my second favorite homage fragrance to me in the entire collection. This is again probably the only fragrance that I've sold and that I regret it, but I was able to find this 50 ml, which is a more ideal size, and I found one with a non-magnetic top, which means it's older. This one's considered a Chypre floral. It was released in 2013, and some of the notes on this one are cinnamon, black pepper, labdanum, incense, oak moss, patchouli, castoreum. And this one is more of a oriental ambery type of scent. It does have that cinnamon in it. It is not a cinnamon overdose. It sort of reminds me of Bint Al Sudan. I did do a video on that. The opening of that reminds me of Bint Al Sudan. The dry down on it, it's more of, like I say, like a resinous oriental type of fragrance. But I do love this one. This was one that if I found the extrait on this one, I would certainly purchase this one. It's awesome. Number 7 on my list is from the House of Robert Bouquet, and this one is Bandit. This is a 50 ml bottle. I don't think this is discontinued, but it seems to always be sold out and hard to find. I see Bandit Supreme pop up. This is the original Bandit. It was released in 1944. This one is considered a Chypre floral. It does have some like leathery facets to it. It's of course it's originally targeted as a women's fragrance, but it's extremely like masculine, like an Antaeus or something like that. This one has galbanum, bergamot, oak moss, patchouli, civet, leather, myrrh, musk, and this one is just an awesome scent. I'm glad I was able to get it, but I got it in the 50 ml, which I think is fine. I think 100 ml was available, but I ended up going with this one. It's just an all-around great scent. If you can get your nose on it, if you're into these type of scents, I definitely would. Number 6 on my list, which is really like a top 5 because some of them will be repeated, as you'll see. This one's from the House of Guerlain. This is a super slept on scent that no one talks about, and this one is Chance d'Arômes, and this is just a beautiful Chypre style scent. When I first tested it, it was just undeniable that it was like a familiar scent, but it's nothing. It just has that Chypre accord that's unmistakable, but it doesn't smell like Mitsouko or anything like that. This one's considered a Chypre floral. It was released in 1962, and some of the notes on this one are aldehydes, citruses, jasmine, honeysuckle, heliotrope, frankincense, benzoin, and vanilla. This is just a beautiful scent. It just take me a while to try to describe it, and I'm trying to get through the list, but if you have not tried this one, I would certainly check it out. It's one of the best scents from Guerlain, in my opinion. If I was able to find an extrait of it, I'd probably pick it up. I was looking at some vintage ones, but with my experience with that vintage Eau de Toilette Mitsouko, I won't try it unless it's maybe an extrait. Let's keep it moving. Down to the top 5. Now for number 5, I'm gonna go with today Mitsouko, the Eau de Parfum concentration. To get it out of the way finally, Mitsouko was released in 1919. It is considered a Chypre fruity. It's now over 100 years old, and I think it's just an amazing scent even in the newer formulations of it. This is the latest bottle that was released in 2021. I also have a couple in the older style, the same bottle but different placket on the front. I have one from 2002 and 2009. These are just awesome scents. They're definitely in my top 5, but I did want to mention them because Mitsouko, except for that Eau de Toilette that I tried, the Eau de Parfum and the extrait, they're just awesome scents. But I'm just gonna put it at number 5 for today. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the House of Roches, and this is Femme Roches or Roches Femme. This is a discontinued Eau de Parfum concentration. This is a splash bottle. I believe this is from the 90s, or no, I think this is from the 80s. this one that I was lucky enough to come up on. There's a lot of it missing. I did decant some, but this is a great Chypre fruity fragrance. This one was released just like Bandit in 1944 in the middle of World War II. And some of the notes on this one are plum, which is famous for, peach, apricot, bergamot, lemon, ylang ylang, jasmine, oak moss, patchouli, and benzoin. And this is just a great scent. It is similar to like a Mitsouko, but what that plum note does is makes it a little bit more unique to where it's not redundant. So let's keep it moving. Number 3 on my list is another one from the house of Amouage. This one I've talked about a lot. And this is Jubilation 25, the women's, but this is the extrait. This is a 50 ml extrait. The 50 ml still maybe seem to be available for purchase. It's a magnetic top. This is my favorite Amouage of all time. I don't think anything can top this. Jubilation 25 was released in 2007. This one has ylang ylang, rose, tarragon, labdanum, patchouli, myrrh. It's just a great scent. It does have similarities to Mitsouko and Roche's Femme and things like that, but it's its own thing. It is completely unique, and I love this scent. It's great. So right now I have it at number 3. I only have 2 more, and if you watch my channel you might guess what they are, but this one is a top 5 through and through, the extrait. What's unique about this one is people talk about with concentration, the higher oil concentration you go up, you lose out on the projection, but this is a beastly type of scent. I had the eau de parfum, I sold it because this one projects a lot. It's extremely potent scent. I've been trying to hunt down a 100 ml bottle. Maybe they'll have some when if I go to Oman one day. So let's move on to the last 2. And number 2 could easily be number 1, but I put it at number 2 today, and this one is Mitsouko the Extract. So this is the extract concentration. This was my prized possession purchase of 2023. This one I got from the same seller in Japan. I still had a 7.5 ml, so I'm still working through that, but I've opened this one just so I could smell it. Again, Mitsouko was released in 1919. This one, bergamot, rose, peach, jasmine, oak moss, spices, if I haven't mentioned it before. This is just, Mitsouko is just the most amazing thing, and in the parfum, it's just gold to me. So this could easily be number 1, but I have it number 2 for today. Can you guess what number 1 is? And my number 1 is, if you haven't guessed it, Chypre Palatine. Still, just this fragrance just puts a smile on my face. Some people think that it's more ambery than it is Chypre. It's just something that puts a smile on my face every time I smell it. It's completely unique. It could be number 2. Mitsouko I love too, but just this one, I've never had a fragrance that was so mood changing the way this one has been for me. Chypre Palatine was released in 2012. Some of the notes on this one are galbanum, labdanum, hyacinth, clementine, oak moss, benzoin, patchouli, castoreum. So many different notes, but it just comes together in just this nice scent. It's considered to be, as I've said, unisex. It's a Chypre fruity, which I guess is my favorite style as far as Chypre is concerned. It's a great scent. I do have the Silk Road edition as well. I don't think the juice is as dark as this. This is one example that, in my opinion, from the short amount of time that I've been collecting, where when they put the style of the fragrance in it or the actual note, like if the other ones that have Chypre in the name, they don't, not that they don't smell like Chypre, but they're just not really nice. This is something that just goes against the mold. It actually has the name on it, and I think that's what he went for, and he succeeded. Same thing, I had a video about oud fragrances that just have oud in the name, and most of them don't even have real oud, or they don't have, or they're not oud forward. So usually when for me, in my opinion, when some of these companies put something in the name and it sort of never lives up to that expectation, and this is an example of the opposite of that. So this one is still my number 1. Are you into Chypre or sheep fragrances? Please let me know in the comments. Please let me know what are some of your favorite ones that I haven't mentioned here. Are there any on this list that you find that are some of your favorites? Please let me know in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.